Hello, this is Sandra Noble, and I wanted to talk to you about your rights as a consumer. There are lots of laws that are in place that are here to protect you, and it's up to you to know exactly what your rights are. We want to discuss the Fair Debt Collection Act, and basically, that is the act that is telling the debt collection companies exactly what they can and can't do. So one of the things that they can't do is that they just cannot just talk to you any old kind of way. Any abusive language is a violation, and if you record it or capture it or say that you're right, someone was talking to you in an abusive way, you can definitely sue them on that behalf if you can prove it. The other thing is that they cannot call you all hours of the night or anything like that. There are some limitations in which what time they can call you. They cannot call you before 8 o'clock in the morning, and they cannot call you after 9 p.m. Any calls outside of that, if you can document those, that you can actually dispute them and challenge them in court, sue them in court for that. That's something that they are not allowed to do. The other thing is if they decide that they're going to call you at your job, and a lot of us are, you're working and you're getting these calls, and it is disturbing. You have every right to call them. I mean, not call them up, but if they call you, you have every right to tell them, hey, I do not want you contacting me at my job, and they can no longer contact you at your job. It is, you write your phone number down on the application, so of course they would have this information, but no one wants to be disturbed at their job, and so no, they cannot do that. If you tell them clearly, please do not contact me on my job. The other thing is, if you happen to be receiving those calls at home, even if they are during the working hours that I said from 8 to 9 p.m., you can tell them, hey, I do not want you to contact me via phone anymore. You can send them a letter via certified mail explaining that you do not want them to contact you over the phone, and those calls will cease. If they happen, after you send the letter and you know that they have received the letter, if they continue to call, that is a violation, and you can definitely go and challenge them in court. So that is the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. The next one I want to talk about is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. This is the one that protects you as a consumer of anything that is put on your credit report. There are three major credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and their job is to collect all of our information. But it is up to us to make sure that this information is factual. So with this act, it basically entitles you to get a free credit report every 12 months. So annually, you are entitled to get your free credit report. And when you get this report, it is your job to make sure that you are reviewing it, because you want to review and verify all of the information on that report is accurate. Anything that is not accurate, you want to challenge it, you want to dispute it, so that this is a great representation of you. So anything that's in violation, is incorrect, you want to make sure you're looking at your name, you're looking at your address, you're looking at your social security number, any information that's on there, any accounts, you want to make sure that you recognize each and every one of the accounts that are reporting. If you don't, or if this information is not factual, what you want to do is you want to dispute this. You want to let the credit bureaus know that you do not recognize this information. You want to correct your personal information, and they have 30 days in which they are supposed to correct this. They should be corresponding with you, meaning that you should get a new credit report in the mail to let you know what their findings are. And that's what you do. But these are your rights. You want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence, that you are opening, that you are getting your credit report, that you are taking a look at it, you are verifying all of the information, and you are doing all of that. The last thing is that they are only required to keep this information on the report for so long. So like they can't keep something on the report that may be negative or positive on there for 20 years. If you have an old credit card account and that credit card was discharged or anything like that, but it is like 20 years old, they have to take that off. And you sometimes they don't just do it. Sometimes you have to point those things out to them that they need to remove that, and they will. So that is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. There is another act, and it's called the Truth in Lending Act. And this is an act that helps you when you're dealing with, when you're trying to go get a new loan, like a car loan or a mortgage or anything like that. There are some things that they have got to tell you when you are dealing with them. They have got to tell you that you, the total amount of the loan, the term, which means when it's going to be finished, the end date of your loan, and also the total, the total amount of your loan, the interest rate of your loan, as well as the total cost of your loan. So those are the three things that they have to tell you before you sign the paper when you are considering this mortgage or loan from this lender. The other thing is that they cannot steer you into a loan in which they received a higher compensation, meaning like if there was a loan A and they would get 5% interest commission on it, and another loan in which the lender themselves, the person selling you the loan, gets 10%, they'll steer you towards B because they get a higher commission. They cannot do that, so that is a violation. And the last part of this act is the fact that you have 3 days. So once you go in to the dealership, you decide you want to get this car, they tell you all of this information, and then after you go home, you're like, you know what, I really don't feel comfortable with this. You have up to 3 days to come back and say that that is not something that you feel comfortable with. It's called a right of rescission. So if you decide that you get a loan, if you don't feel comfortable, if you feel like something was wrong, you can decide to cancel out this this new loan that you've taken out. You have up to 3 days. And this act is called the Truth in Lending Act, and it is there to protect you, and you have to know your rights to make sure that you are understanding everything. The next one is the Fair Credit Billing Act, and this act is basically talking about if you have any charges on your credit card bill that you may not recognize or anything like that. So you have up to 60 days until when a charge hits your account to dispute this charge, and you can let your credit card provider know that you don't recognize this, or there's an overcharge or anything that is not accurate. You contact your credit provider, and then they have up to 30 days to research this and investigate it. Upon their investigation, they'll determine whether or not this is valid or invalid. If it's valid, you can challenge it. It could be some reason why you don't believe that this charge is true, and you might just have to give some paperwork to document and say exactly why. It could be that you didn't receive the item that they're charging you for. It might be something like that. But if it is invalid, they have only a certain time frame to make the correction, and that correction is also including a reduction in the accrued interest that you're being charged for this item. So if you're getting, say you bought something or you're challenging something that was $25, if you are accruing interest on that because you're not going to pay that $25 because you didn't make that charge, you have every right to withhold $25, but you still have to make the required minimum payment on there, not minus the $25 challenge thing that you're challenging. You're basically still have to make the minimum payment, but they will just do their investigation. Again, that is the Fair Credit Billing Act. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Silver Crown LLC. That's Silver Crown LLC.